So in uh recent days, I think this week, Fresh and Fit. If you guys don't know him, which I think is ridiculous that you guys wouldn't, Fresh and Fit got demonetized, right? Um, their YouTube channel, which is they probably do live shows, so being demonetized, people can't send you money like super chats, money through the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So they pretty much can't make money through that. Plus, I don't think they make ad revenues because their content. I don't think YouTube ever likes their content to put ads on their videos. So they don't even get ad revenue.
Okay.
So
I didn't
their
know.
money primary is from super chats, right? Money through live streams,
Okay.
and YouTube has taken that away.
Mm.
Okay, I guess let's watch a little bit of it.
Now, quick question.
Go ahead.
Well, play the clip first. I'll ask the question later.
Okay.
The channel has been kicked off the YouTube partner program. Just keep it straight.
If you look right now, you can't even super chat or
you can't even super chat right now.
Yep. So this is the beginning of the end of this era.
We're working with YouTube to try to come to a middle ground and work together and figure this out. But for now,
we don't even know why.
We don't know the specific reason. When you guys send me your DMs and say, "Yo, you saved my life," "Yo, you sent me a picture of your credit score," "Yo, my girl is making sandwiches now," or whatever it is, right? We've helped a lot of you guys from keeping yourselves from making a really bad decision. What I'm asking you guys is, just like we've saved you guys, we need you guys to save us. We need you guys to support us.
Wherever we go. Fresh and Fit, you guys saved my life. You changed my entire life. I'm now happy because I was so depressed.
Guys, it's gotten to the point now where even where we shoot the location doesn't want us to stay here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to fucking have to say that shit. I really didn't want to have to admit that. Dude, there is a matrix, man. Like, people don't want you guys to get this message. I love doing this. I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say I love doing this. I left a job that I truly loved to do this, right? Because, and I shouldn't be admitting this, but saving children, right? That was great, but saving you guys is better.
I'm gonna talk more about it, but what's your fresh thoughts?
All right, so my understanding is this happened to them because they had a guest on who kind of like
the white guy. It could be, but I'm hearing is not clear. It's not 100% clear, but I mean it could be that.
Well, that's really important to this discussion because so it's not their thoughts about women in relationships that got them demonetized.
Let me say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
My view is this, right? And I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I know the controversy with that guest. My feeling is that this is why I like, let's say, like barbershop talk shit, right? Mm-hmm. Where and how men talk with each other is that how can you push back on ideas when you just don't listen to any other ideas that are outside of your own? So if, let's say, if we're so pro-black, right, and our mindset is all black, or all this, right, but then when you don't hear the other side, what kind of ideas are you trying to talk about? right? Why do you think someone is, let's say, racist? Oh, you don't know, right? You don't know what their ideas are. You can't. This is my thing where I always think that like we talk about one of the things, right, where I sometimes see, right? Let's say countries like Japan or China, Asian countries, right? Where they say black people go into those countries and supposedly say that they're saying Asian people are racist towards them. In my view, I don't even think they're racist. I think they're ignorant to it because one, they what kind of ideas do they get from social media, right? They get what their views on black people or other races from social media. They don't know they don't know people that's outside of their circle. So it's more ignorance than racist because they don't understand the difference. They don't understand anything about it. Where the point is that what I'm saying is like these are the things where we don't try to educate, we just try to demonize. We don't try to this is the thing where I believe in 2023 we are more what's the word more segregated or more divided than ever. We as a human collective, which is like the craziest thing to me, us dividing ourselves between race, between gender, instead of us uniting, making each other understand each other, right? Seeing each other's point of views, seeing different point of views, helping us educate each other. So let's say if I am a racist, I'm not, right? But if I talk to you, I hope that you educate me, destroy some of my stereotypes, the views I have on races, and destroy it in a logical way. Break my mold, right? This is the thing where we should. What if like we're not just breaking the mold with each other, but what if this is the point where the power of social media, where how about we break the mold of someone else, right? If someone else is viewing it, that they are racist themselves, but they're hearing the logic and like, you know what? Although the person that is on the show did not change his views, but what if you change the view of the audience? That's the important things that we don't like. One of the things, right? Let's say the Democrats and Republican thing, they don't sit on a table and just talk things out. No, they sit far apart and just like shoot shit at each other, right? So that's why the thing is like you hear all these like divided categories: leftist, right wing, like black, white, man, woman, all these divided things, right? Instead of human collective. Now, again, what YouTube does is what YouTube does. I'm not talking about that. But I think it's crazy, right? That we can't, the point of having, even listen to people you don't like let's say if I listen to a Democrat, I don't like him, right? But I'd rather listen to him so I can hear his point of views and see if I can if I agree with it or I still see the delusion or the illogicalness of it. But I'd rather listen to it and then be ignorant to it. So I'd rather listen to, let's say, a black man's, right, his views on life, his views on what society is, where if I disagree with it, I could counteract it. But if I don't, I could probably, sympathize, understand it. This is the point where we have conversations and talking to each other. And, that's the thing where we're so sensitive, where, I don't know, back in our days, right? How many times have I've had people just bust on me, right? About my being Asian. How they do the Asian talks, right? But back in our day when I was young, I'm busting back on them, right? You want to say racist shit to me? I'm gonna say shit about you, right? We like back when we were younger, we are busting back on each other, and I'm telling you, I don't know if you remember, like we see some racist shit when we're young, but it's like we're not sensitive to that shit, right? Because one, you have to know the person. If you're coming at it with malice intent, that's different, right? That's why I don't believe, let's say, the Japanese, the Chinese, all this shit, right? They're coming necessarily, I'm not saying all, but necessarily coming with malice intent, but I think sometimes with ignorant intent, where they don't understand, right? And that's the thing where I see, like, I wish society understands it more, where who cares what's, like, who cares what's on social media is about you yourself. What I said, right? I like Fresh and Fit. I do not agree with 100% of shit they say. I don't. But that's the point where I'd rather take their information because I'm an adult. We're adults, right? If you decide to listen to them 100%, well, that's your thing, right? Because you are an adult. You do what you want to do. And if you be stupid because of what other people say, like, what's the saying, right? If I go jump off a bridge, would you follow me? Is that the same? Or like,
yeah. If your friends jump off, you're gonna jump off a bridge just because your friends do it, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's like that's exactly the same thing, right? If I say women are, if I said women are stupid, well, would you automatically agree with me? Well, that's up to you, right? So I mean, like back when you said, right, early on, one of the things you said about you were about how the Fresh and Fit's talking points can affect, let's say, certain men to be really misogynist, really toxic. I understand that, but I also understand that at the end of the day, we're adults. What you do, how you interpret things is how you're going to interpret things. Right? What you do with your interpretation, like how you act against women, well, I think you would do that regardless. So let's say a true racist would be racist regardless of any other factor, because they have that they just want to do it. They just want to be toxic, be misogynist. They just want to be violent, shit like that. Where at the end of the day, we're adults. We're not children. So there's a point where you can't baby people to that extent. Where let's take away this content so you don't listen to it, so you don't become evil, whatever shit like that, right? And that's the thing where I'm talking about, where I hated that men's content is so scrutinized, so heavily censored, heavily I don't know,
monitored or
heavy monitored or whatever, right? It's just like, because I think a lot of times men are just talking, and I don't know about you, but a lot of times, if let's say a bunch of men talking, even that's not recorded, they say some crazy ass shit. But the thing is that, how many times do we let women do that? Always. Like, I see, like, let's say an old show. Oh God, where was it? Look at this.
Men are important. Like for what? Men are important. Like for what?
Do you think that is this? You don't think that's toxic, right? The toxicity that like men are not important, and a woman doesn't even know what a man is important for, right? It's like, and this is daytime, like, and these are women, right? Women are laughing. You can see the faces of the men there, like, okay, wow, Wow, it's like this is the thing, right? Where we're saying like, how many things um we hear, and it's fine, right? That women can say and do, but when a man does it, it's toxic. You know, it's misogynistic, it's violent, it's all these stuff. But when a woman does it, it's okay. And this is the thing where, and I can tell you this, right? Only in recent years have men allowed, thanks to social media, allowed to speak their thoughts, voice their feelings. We've had decades of women voicing, general women, right? Average women, or just women in general, voicing their thoughts, opinions, and views. If men weren't on the top percent, you would not hear average men. So that's the thing what I'm talking about, and that's the that's the something that I don't like, right? I mean, like just like a while back where something happened to Andrew Tate as well, right? The scandal happened to him. Men that support men are so it's like it's crazy that we have women that supports women and then say men ain't shit, and that's fine to hear. Saying a man that's not shit, men are not shit, right? And that's fine. That would not even get any of these social media sites to have a strike against, right? You would not ever see if a woman say a man's not shit and her content be demonetized or whatever. Now, I get that if that's true that they were demonetized for that one video, it's like
So I
it's
saw
a bit of extreme.
Okay. So I'm of two minds of the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
What I understand about the situation, they had a man on who I don't know if he was like an author or like he's in some way he many people view him as a white supremacist.
Yeah.
And when he was on the show, I don't know if he was exactly denying the Holocaust, but he was saying that maybe the what actually happened may have been exaggerated through history. And I have questions. I didn't see the whole show. I've only seen clips, so I don't know if the host of Fresh and Fit, if they agreed with what he was saying, or if they pushed back on it, or if they just just let him say what he was going to say. I don't know exactly how the conversation went, but from what I've heard, the ideas that he was speaking on, well, he offended the wrong people, right? um, and like I said, I'm of two minds of this. One, when it comes to like that, like they call him a Holocaust denier or whatever, and kind of a racist and a racist. And Fresh and Fit had the conversation with him or whatever. I think racism is ignorance, but racism is willful ignorance. And what's frustrating about willful ignorance is that there's a lot, Dan, that I don't know. You're my close friend. There's a lot about your background and your family's culture that I don't know. If I were to make assumptions about it and preach those assumptions as fact, especially if they were false, you'd be right to be upset with me. Not just because I could say, oh, I didn't understand. But if I didn't understand, I should ask, or I should do research and learn, right? But if I don't want to learn, if I just want to make my assumptions and preach them as fact, you'd be right to be upset with me. If another show had brought, or if they had brought this man on and he started talking about, this isn't even fake scenario. Honestly, it would be infuriating if he were talking about slavery didn't happen and Jim Crow didn't happen, or they lied about how bad it really was. I would be so furious, right, about him saying those things. So from that point of view, I understand people being mad about hearing, like, why do you have this man on talking all this nonsense? Now, I don't know how much they pushed back on it. In the clips I saw, not very much, because there were some things they agreed on. It's fine. But my point is, a person who's willfully ignorant, who doesn't want to know the truth, or just assumes that they have the truth without really educating themselves, that would make me upset. The other thing is, I don't know. I mean, they already put themselves on the hot seat, right? Because they have very controversial takes about everything. So there's a lot of people mad at them, and they don't get in trouble for it.
Which is, you know what? I gotta say that it was. It might be stupid for them to be honest, right? What? That's the thing where you have made a lot of points, right? But I'll probably stick with the one you just made. Is that you are so right that they are very controversial. They should have just stuck with. They should have just stuck with men and women.
Just in that lane.
They should have just stuck with, like, bringing like a man who's about race.
Yeah.
Is just. I can't. I didn't see the logic in that. Right. I don't see, like, a lot of these. Like, I don't know if you know, right? Pearl. I don't know if you know. It's a white girl that she also talks about men's issues.
Okay.
But she got a lot of heat too, because she brought that guy on as well, right?
Okay.
I don't know why you do it. Why would you? Because you talk about men and women dynamic. Mm-hmm. Why bring such a strong focus on race? I mean, unless you're talking about black women and black men, that's different. But no, you're talking about just the culture of black people. It's like, or the culture of Jews or whatever, right? But the cultures of race and not a man and woman dynamic. Wow, it's like that was just. I admit that was a stupid thing. I don't understand that. That don't make sense.
Yeah,
because it doesn't hit the topic, and it doesn't gear for your audience. So because your audience never complain about the white man or complain about, I don't know, the life of a black man. So
although they made some points, and I only saw clips. I didn't see that. I didn't watch the whole. But in the clips I saw, I think I saw clips where they were making points about like book burning and like certain publications and things that Nazis didn't allow to be published as what they considered propaganda, and that a lot of things they burned had to do with sex and gender and things that they didn't agree with.
And
so I don't know. Peripherally, it was on topic, but not really.
To be honest, right? Mm-hmm. What I would have said was, if, let's say, if I was YouTube, I would say just unlist that episode, delete it or unlist it.
Maybe, yeah.
That's why I would, because let's say this, right? Yes, you're right. Their content is controversial, but their content has been consistent in a male-female dynamic. The one content that I agree, I didn't even watch it, right? I didn't watch it because I don't watch everything they do, right? Mm-hmm. But I knew about it. I've seen a couple of clips, right? But again, it was a stupid idea because it didn't make sense. So really, it's like to be honest, right? I think they were just looking for a reason. YouTube was looking for, and it was a good reason, right? It was a clear reason.
Yeah.
But they were looking for a good, clear reason to help silence them as much as possible.
And I believe that. And they probably have been for a long time because they're skirting the edge, right?
Yeah. It was stupid. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I mean, you're skirting the edge. So
Now,
why,
here's the
like,
other thing. Like, I agree with you when you say, like, listen, you can listen to other points of view. You have to make a decision on what you listen to, what you believe. But in 2023, it just came out of the Donald Trump presidency. His mugshot is on. Is all over the internet now. That's neither here nor there. But we just came out of that presidency. We dealt with the January 6th insurrection, where a lot of people who didn't believe who thought that I don't know, people were willfully sabotaging voting machines, and they bought into all kinds of like rhetoric and propaganda that Donald Trump promoted or didn't try to not promote or implied about. The things he said inspired people to try to overtake the Capitol of the United States of America, right? I think the point is what you say publicly can do serious damage. That wasn't the only thing. During the COVID pandemic, the our president at the time was not conclusive. Wouldn't support people taking the vaccine completely, right? And allowed a lot of controversy to fester over whether it was real or whether it was a conspiracy or whether people needed the shot, which could have cost other people their lives, right?
I mean,
I know there's a lot of controversy about the vaccine and
yeah, I mean, it's, to be honest, like, it's like a whole
personal
other
view,
thing.
my personal view is that, and this is a side note, the United States has monetized medical care for so long that it bit them in the butt this time, because when they really needed, COVID stopped the world, right? And stopped money. And so they needed to take care of this thing to continue making money. So they came up with a vaccine, like they would usually come up with a vaccine. But they rolled it out immediately because they wanted people to get well and start spending money again. But for so many years, they could come up with cures or vaccines for stuff, and they wait until they figure out how to monetize it before they give it to people. So we're under the impression that it takes a long time to make a vaccine, when it really doesn't. But a lot of people didn't believe them. So when they had a vaccine really quickly and said, take this shot so you'll be okay and you can go back out into the world, people were like, well, I don't trust it, because you've never come up with a vaccine that fast before. They've always come up with vaccines that fast. They just wait until they can figure out how to make money off of it before they give it to people. But that's a sign. That's neither here nor there. I said I was of two minds about the fresh and fit thing. I do think they put themselves in a position where they are responsible for what they put out to the world, and they kind of got clipped for it now. And they had a guy on who, I think he was spouting a bunch of nonsense. And I don't know that they really tried to like debunk it or anything, but whatever. The other side of the argument is, and it's frustrating, this is kind of what they got in trouble for. So I won't say too much about it, but people say, like, you can talk about anybody, but once you talk about the Jews or the Jewish people, you get in trouble, right? And recently, Kyrie Irving, right? He got in a lot of trouble for saying what he said, which and he retweeted.
I thought it was stupid. I thought
it was nonsense. He caught so much flack for it. And I wouldn't argue that anything in that movie, I haven't seen it. I don't know that anything is true. It's probably all nonsense. But Jeff Bezos is selling it, right? On his platform. You never heard a word about him. Kyrie Irving caught a lot of heat for just putting out a tweet about it, right? So it's a little bit frustrating when, especially as, I don't want to make this too much about race, but as a Black person, when you see another culture, another group of people be protected, I'm not going to imply that they don't deserve it. I'm not like a Holocaust denier or anything like that. What happened?
They all should deserve it.
a horrible tragedy. It was genocide, right? It was it was awful. It's an awful thing that happened in human history. We live in a country and under a government that has committed the same kind of atrocities, and they get to point at those other guys and say, "Look at what y'all did," and make them out for the bad guys, and they never acknowledge what they did to people like us, right? And that's super frustrating. So whenever somebody says something bad about the Jews or the Holocaust, which they shouldn't say, people are quick to be like, "You are wrong, you're canceled, you shouldn't have done it." And I don't think that's wrong. But I don't feel like the response is the same when they're talking about us. In fact, our own government in Florida right now, they're literally pushing lies and blocking true education about history. They're banning books that talk about what really happened during slave time, what really happened with Jim Crow. They're redesigning their educational system so that slavery doesn't sound so bad. And they're going to teach children that one, it was necessary, that one, keeping slavery was necessary to keep the country together. Nuts. That two, Black people somehow benefited from being made into slaves because we learned trades. Like it's not. It's the kind of it's the kind of stuff that if it's what the Germans did. It's what the Germans did, and it's what we point to them back then. Nazis are the bad guys in every movie, and Hitler is the ultimate villain in history, right? Americans did the same thing to us, and in ways they still do it, and not just Black people. Then you know that there was mistreatment of Asian persons of color in America. They murdered the natives whose land they stole, right? Their atrocities just mount and mount and mount, and they don't have to pay anything for it, but they get to point to the other guy and say, "Y'all are bad." And anytime anybody brings that up and mentions it, you get to jump on them and punish them. And I'm not saying that it's wrong that they punish them. I just wish that we got the same treatment. So that's frustrating. So I don't know. I feel like Fresh and Fit, they got themselves, they made their bed, and now they kind of have to lay in it. But I don't know that it's fair.
No, see, so for me it's like this, right? How it's all, I think it all goes into one point, right? The things you talked about in the beginning to the things you just talked about is that we live in a country, and I think now is the time, right, where we live in a country that with social media, we have the power, true power of freedom of speech. And we should have the true power of freedom of speech. So, although I think it was stupid that they have that type of guest on because it don't make sense for their content. But I think the point is that have it on there. Let's say this, right? Hypothetical, there was a channel and it's a racist channel, right? A white guy spewing all these racist content. Okay. You keep it there, right? Use that as content. Let's say if you were a Black creator, use that content so you can debunk it. Take those. This is the great thing about. Let's say one of the things that I love about or YouTube does it too, but like TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. How they can stitch, right? Stitch content or duet other people's content is that you could have, let's say, I have a racist guy talking, saying something so racist for a few seconds, and then boom, it's me I'm talking about. I could say, that's stupid. That don't make sense. This is why it don't make sense. This is why it doesn't make sense, right? That's the point where I say that, just like, let's say, Democrat stuff, Republican shit, how people say, like, you have a Republican saying universal health care is shitty. It should not be, okay? That's the tagline. And then a Democrat saying, no, it should be, that, because it is, but that. That's the thing, right? Where I do understand, right, that if you're racist but willfully, I mean, ignorant, you don't want to learn. I get, but at the end of the day, right, we're human beings that have free will, we're adults. We do the shit we do, right? Why do you think that there's, punishment for killing? It's because we're trying to control other adults from doing not other shit to do certain shit. But at the end of the day, is that adults will do what they will do. I mean, people will do what they will do. All you can do is that you can control yourself. Where, let's say this, right? Where I want I love, right, women talking, right? I love content of women saying the shit that they say. I love it, right? I want it all day, right? Have all the women talk all the crap they want. Why? Because I can use it as content. I can use it as sharing my point of views, where I can share my views to other like-minded people. So at the end of the day, let's say the things that Trump did, right? Trump, what he did was he brought the people that had those views already together. That's it. Because there were people had those views. So let's say if you believe Trump was racist, well, and he brought these racist people together, well, those people were already like that. So it wouldn't have changed those people, right? It didn't change those people. They were already like that. So what I'd rather do is that, okay, we have these people. The best thing we can do is counteract them with, you want to talk, then I'm going to talk too. You want to say this crap, I'm going to counteract your crap. Because I sometimes, like, we're not back in the old days where if you hit me, I want to hit you back, right? If we have a disagreement, it's going to become a fight. But now we're in the world of more logic, more, I guess, scholarly in a sense, right? Where, fine, if we have a disagreement, let's disagree. This is one of the things why I like you on the show, where you don't 100% agree with me, and I like that, because so we can counteract each other, where we can talk about each other's viewpoints, right? Where if we can, right, change each other's viewpoint, great. If we can't, we agree to disagree, right? That's how I'm talking about. That's how I want it. So let's say if you were racist, okay, hopefully I could change your point of view on something. If you can't, okay, hopefully maybe you could change my view on something, which is crazy. Change my view to a racist way, right? It's crazy, but this is the point where I love debates, right? I would never call myself an intellectual, but I'm a person who has my own viewpoints, my own opinions. So, but I'm not a person who's concrete, right? I'm not concrete in my views and opinions. Because I can tell you this, it's funny, it's crazy. A few years back, I was a clear Democrat. Straight up Democrat. Okay? And then a little while, I was kind of Republican. And now it's like, I don't care about neither of them, right? It's whatever, right? Or I can say that I was like really left wing, then become more right wing, then become conservative. It's like, for me, it's like, I just like logic. If you make sense to me, that's great. That's all I'm asking for. Just make sense to me, right? Say in a way that, you know what, I can agree with, and I can't think of what to counteract with. So let's say the guy said a racist thing, right? He said, I don't know, black people love chicken, like they love fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you disagree with it, well, counteract it. I was like, no, I know some black people that love hamburgers, right? I mean, like, statistically, right here, this statistic says 54% of black people love hamburgers more than chicken. Okay, then this is the thing where I said that the difference between women and men. Women will throw away logic out of the window and stick with their feelings. No, I feel it. No, I feel black people love chicken, and I know it. I feel it. That's the truth. No, I just showed you a stat that says this is the majority of black people don't. No, I still feel it. Well, then, see, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing where you let that clip, which is great with the internet. Shit will live on forever online, right? If you like, the crazy shit that Trump does will live forever online. So you could, let's say, if you were someone who's avidly against Trump, well, you have a catalog of clips you can use to make your content with, to say your talking points. But that's the thing. I'd rather live this, like, let's say if those clips weren't online, and then you say, oh, Trump this, Trump that. Well, prove it. Where's your proof? Right? You told me Trump said this. Prove it to me. Right? That's the thing where I prefer how men talk. Right? So if that guy was, and again, I think it's stupid because Fresh and Fit they're not about the race. So they wouldn't even have counter arguments to him because they don't know much about race. They don't deal with that. So I thought that was stupid. But like I said, like, keep that thing online, right? So someone else that is more logical in the race talk can clip it and counteract that, right? Because like I said, we live in a day and age where everyone has voices. I mean, let's say this. I'm not saying me and you, but like, let's say people like Fresh and Fit, or I don't know, any kind of creator you want. They are a newspaper of their own, right? They are the newspaper of like olden days, right? They are the pamphlets. They are the books of olden days where that's how you spread the news, or not news, but spread information out to people. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, I'd rather have those content out so other people can have conversations on it, because it's like a lot of things. I feel like that's the part where we're being willfully ignorant, right? That's where I think we're being willfully ignorant because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it. No, my views are this. My views are right? Black people this, black people that. I don't want to listen to any counter argument. Well, then you're technically not changing anyone's mind who has those views, right? So there are, let's say, a 13-year-old white kid in, I don't know, Mississippi who thinks that shit. But you have that clip right there of that guy, that racist guy saying that shit. Then you saying that, no, this guy's wrong like that. How I can prove it? This is wrong. Look at the statistic, right? This and that. Maybe, this is a maybe, you could change the view of that white boy in Mississippi, and like, wow, you know what? I thought black people love chicken, but you know what? This man really told me that. No, in general, the majority of black people don't like chicken. That changed my mind. And he showed stats. I can't argue on that because he showed that is true. He showed that there's logic. Where this is what I'm saying. Where I feel like at sometimes where we let the people decide instead of we're puppeteering. We're controlling it, because controlling information, I think that's where the problem lies. Because just like cops, where they control body cams. No, I personally think if it's not an active crime, all body cams should always, after you finish, after it rotates the system couple months, should automatically go out to public. Like they have a Twitter account that always, or a TikTok account that publishes every new information should be let out for the public to view, right? For them to decide. That's the thing where we're not, I don't know, living in North Korea, where our government controls the information we would receive. So it gears the information to what you want. Because I think, let's say you're pro-black, I think your views should be challenged, right? maybe will shake up your views. That hell, like I said, what about black on black crime? Okay, challenge it. That's what I'm saying. Like challenge people's views. That's what I'm more saying. Like that's why I'm more at it. Like again, like I said, I don't agree. I thought it was stupid for Fresh and Fit to have that person on because it don't make sense for their content. But
Right.
on a bigger scale, with a lot of things you were saying, right? You said more than just Fresh and Fit shit.
Mhm.
Where I think we should challenge each other's point of views, right? That's where I think like more the intellectual conversation or more human conversations, right? If I believe something that's maybe racist in your eyes, challenge that view for me, right? And if let's say if we're and this is the beauty of like social media content, right? If you don't change my view, maybe you're changing someone else's views, and that's the magic of it. That's the beauty of it, right?
So now that I don't disagree with you, but here's where I think that gets messy. To make their points, especially when it comes to people who are like white supremacists and sometimes like politically, not just on one side or the other. I think Donald Trump was like really good at this, but I think all politicians do it. You turn fact into opinion, or imply that it's opinion. The guy on Fresh and Fit was carefully implying that a lot of things we know about the Holocaust weren't true, right? During the COVID pandemic, Donald Trump would say, well, maybe this and maybe that. And then the doctor who was actually working on getting the vaccine, the people would come out and say, no, actually, this is the actual fact, right? You might say a fact, and if you say a fact, and I'm like, oh, I mean, you just gave that example. You give a fact to a woman, and a woman's like, well, no, I feel in my heart that this is, right? That's how a lot of these like untruths and harmful thoughts sort of get out. Now, there's two problems with that. One, if a person implies that a fact is actually an opinion and people start to believe them, a lot of people start to believe them. And I may try to debunk it, but I'm not someone they're a fan of. So let's say the white kid in Minnesota who follows so-and-so who spouting racist nonsense as fact or implying that things that really happened didn't happen. That kid watches his channel, right? I may make a video to debunk it. I may do my best to go viral. That kid may never see it because he doesn't care about me or my opinion. He doesn't watch me, right? So I probably won't change his opinion, or a lot of the opinions of people who watch what they want to see and hear what they want to hear. Here's the other problem. I don't know why that's my responsibility, because I didn't make the mess, right? If, for instance, for everybody knows about what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, right? Whole town, they called it Black Wall Street because it was black people being successful on their own, right? Spending their money in their neighborhood and upbuilding their businesses. And white police and army came through and burnt that town down and murdered hundreds of people, right?
Yeah.
And the next day in the newspaper, there wasn't a mention of it. And there wasn't another mention of it for 80 years. 80 years, bro. A writer, Ta-Nehisi Coates, had to write a description of what happened. And it's only recently that it's come back in. It's only in the last 20 years, and that's fairly recent, that an atrocity like that has come into the world's view, that we all know what it is now. right? That people are actually writing about it. There was a whole show, the Watchmen sequel, the HBO miniseries, had a lot to do, spoke a lot on that. It opens with what happens in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a fact that happened, but they hid that fact and didn't talk about it and pretended it never happened and then pretended it wasn't a big deal. And even now, they act like there are still the last like 3 living survivors of that atrocity recently got denied reparations for what happened to them. That's crazy.
That is
And I guess my point is, it really happened, but it was a fact that was hidden, or people pretended it didn't happen. And they did that to us, right? Why do I have to, if I'm somebody who survived that atrocity, right? Something that they did to me. Now, why do I have to fight to make people believe that it happened? They should own up to what they did, because it actually happened. When in Florida, when they change the education model to make the atrocity of slavery and Jim Crow seem less bad, I have to now. Not only have you harmed you harmed my grandparents and my parents, and by extension me, for all the things I could have inherited that I was denied, but now I gotta fight to prove to the people that you were spouting falsehoods to that it really happened. That's not fair, right? So when you say like, yeah, someone, you should put it out there, hear somebody's point of view, and if you disagree with it, debunk it. Well, if it's patently false, I should not be the one debunking it, right? Everybody, if people, I shouldn't be the only one debunking it. It shouldn't be my responsibility to debunk it. That guy shouldn't be a liar.
Here, no, here.
He's a liar. You know what I mean?
Let me say this, right? I mean, I think your 2 points, right? Your 2 things were kind of coincide. The world's unfair, right? That's clear and simple, right? As men, let's say take out race, we know the world's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. But the thing is that, let's say this. That's the point where we already know the world's unfair. But I think the point is that we as people always have to fight. That's just how it is, right? You want to survive? It's a fight. Survival, right? Pretty much saying survival, you're fighting to live, right? You're fighting to live. That's just plain and simple. That's survival. So, I get it, right? It's it might sound hard. Like, why am I having to put all this work in? But at the end of the day, let's say this, right? How I view it is that I came to this like, I want to support men. Why am I have to do it? Why do I have to support men? Why can't men just be at the top like I want it to be, right? Why can't I have a harem of girlfriends, right? Why can't I? Why do I have to fight, right? Why does divorce have to be so unfair? Why do child support? Why do the child system have to be so unfair? We're always, the world's unfair. But the point is that why I think 2023 is different than our past is this: the powers that the average people have. So let's say maybe not you, but an alternate you who is so passionate about race, so passionate about the blight and suffering of Black people, that you want to create your content. You want to give a voice to it. So you spend every day talking about the Oklahoma incident, talking about other stuff, right? Talking about whatever, right? All the race issues. And there are plenty of people who do. But that's the point where that's the power we have today. yes, maybe you won't directly influence the white boy in wherever, right, in a white state or whatever, white town, but maybe even better, you will affect I don't know, a black boy in an instant. It's like, wow, I'm looking up to this man. This man is like inspiring me. So I want to do the same thing as this man. I'm going to make content as well, voicing these. I didn't know about Oklahoma, right? Like, say I didn't know about this thing. Now I'm going to study it. I'm going to voice it too. That's a cycle. That's the power of getting the ball rolling. Where even if you can't directly affect the white boy, you may be able to, because maybe your voice reaches another boy or black boy that's like, oh wow, you know, I want to talk about the Oklahoma thing too, but I'm gonna put, I don't know, I'm gonna talk about it while I'm playing video games, right? I'm gonna talk about this Oklahoma thing while I'm playing Call of Duty, and that white boy is like, wow, what? I'm watching this guy play Call of Duty, but he just said something I never knew about. The Oklahoma thing, right? The Oklahoma terrible thing, shit, right? And to be honest, I've only heard that in recent years, right? When I'm an adult. But that's the thing, right? I saw that the I've heard of that, you know, what would I call it? The terribleness of it as an adult. But that's the power. That's the power. Why I'm passionate about this, right? Well, I'm passionate about this shit. Although I'm not getting, you know, crazy views or barely anything, but I'm hoping that at the end of the day, we can only do what we can do. We're not. I've never thought of myself as the leader of men, right? Nor I doubt you ever think yourself the leader of your black race, right? But it's like the power of what we have today is that we can voice our opinions. You think, I mean, it's the thing that you just felt, right? The thing the passion you just spewed out right now, right? Well, look at that. You are able to voice it out to other people. And I think that's magical. I think that's powerful. Instead of like you talking into your room with your friends, right? Who maybe share your view too. Now you can talk to other people who, wow, I never knew about that, right? Like I said, the where you talking about the Oklahoma thing, right? Wow, you know what? I never knew about that. I didn't think about that, or I didn't think about prenups like that. I didn't think about whatever, all these shit like that, right? That's the power what I say social media has, and we don't use it for good. We're not using this power of social media for good. We're doing what? Thirst traps with women dancing, or scams of people saying, "Oh, buy this in NFT," or like all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. This right here, shit like that, where it's voicing people's opinions, pushing thoughts, right? Pushing ideas out. I think that's an amazing thing. Where I hope someone challenge me, right? Challenge me on something, right? Tell me something. Tell me something I don't know. But challenge something that I said I do know, right? Challenge me on that. And that's the power of it, right? That's the magic I see about it. And that's why I was really not a fan about what happened to Fresh and Fit. Because one of the things they said, right, in the follow-up thing, they said that they're not mad about the money, because they said
they got
Fresh and Fit, they're good. They do good, right? They're millionaires. But they said they're mad about the reach. When you become demonetized, YouTube will stop pushing your content. Right? They won't push your content to a whole lot of new people. Okay. And that's the thing, that they're more concerned about their reach. Okay. All right? It's not going to reach new men, right? It's not going to reach, I don't know, detractors and haters, right? It's not going to reach a more, continue to increase their reach. And I think that's I could see that, I can understand that, right? So a point is like,
well, let me ask you then,
What?
Because I mean, we agree that social having a platform on social media is a power, and it's one that can be used for good and evil,
Yeah.
right? And the world's not fair. So, do you think what happened to Fresh and Fit was fair or not fair?
Okay, let me say this, right? I think it's both, right? One, it's YouTube. It's a company that's there. That's the problem, right?
Yeah,
It's free speech until they decide it's not free speech. That's
right,
just
right.
how it is, right? I can't say nothing. I mean, like, let's say that, right? YouTube is like, they haven't, like, it's weird, right? Oh, my content has slowed down drastically, right?
Okay,
I'm not getting subscribers like that,
okay,
and it's depressing, right? But I'm still trying. I'm still working hard. Still pushing content. It's whoever sees it, great. Whoever don't, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like I can't force someone to do something. Fresh and Fit cannot force a company to bend to their will. They can't. They're on someone else's content. They're on someone else's platform. So, like I said, it's free until technically it's not free anymore, right? So it was YouTube was pushing them, and then YouTube decided not to push them. So it is what it is. That's life. It's unfair, yet it's fair because it's their platform.
Your
It's just
platform.
how they choose. But that's life, right? That's the, I mean, that's how life is, right? Life is that human beings are free will, but like it's free until the government says it's not free anymore, right? It's not like you can kill people whenever you feel like it. I mean, you can kill them, but there's consequences to that shit. So it's life, right? So for me, it's like I get it. I'm not. I'm not necessarily complaining about the demonetizing thing, right? Because it is what it is. That's how it is. Um, what I am saying, right, and which we'll probably talk about more right now, as people are uh, they are loving it, right? Women are loving it. Feminist men are loving it. They are loving it. They are reveling in the supposed downfall, which is, I guess, kind of a downfall of Fresh and Fit. So
Okay.
that's where I want to. Maybe we could probably talk about the love of men being silenced. Right. This was a title I used on another video. Right. Women and feminist men love when men are silenced, and these men, they're technically now are being silenced, right? So they can't reach a larger audience. So this is the thing where, let's say, yeah, I have this video. Let's check it out.
Here, because not only did Fresh and Fit podcast get demonetized on YouTube, but also I got this article from Media Takeout. And yeah, I fact checked it. It's accurate.
Man, we got a very important announcement for you guys. YouTube Partner Program. Just keep it strict ground and work team. When you guys send me your DMs and say, yo, helped a lot of you guys.
If you actually read through the community guidelines on YouTube, they have violated those community guidelines numerous amount of times. That includes the promotion of the attacks on women. Okay, and I'm not even going to go into the details. You know exactly what it is that they talk about.
Which is stupid. I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, what did she say?
Attacks on women?
Attacks on women? Okay.
I think that's. I really wish that she would have said it, because I would love clarification. This is the thing, right? Where I was talking about before, where give the counter arguments. Say that. Let's say, like, this is where I'm saying, like, everything's online. Keep it online. So let's say if a woman say, "Oh, Fresh and Fit are attacking women," right? Show a clip. Like, that's why I say, right, where if you get a racist man, this is the perfect thing. You said that, oh, this guy's racist. Okay, show the clip. Prove your point. This is the point where I love this avenue where if you believe something, back it up.
Yeah.
Blackout reports that the host broke the news on their podcast yesterday and warned their fans that they had planned to shut things down shortly. Now, the podcast has become a subject of controversy in the past due to comments made by Weeks and Games, most notably during their viral conversation with Instagram model Brittany Rayner, I think that's how you pronounce her name, earlier this year, where they made alleged misogynistic comments towards her. Now, earlier this year, which I didn't know, the podcast was demonetized for about 7 days from YouTube, and they stated that YouTube had warned them if they continued to make content like that, that they would be banned. I need men to do this, because if men are listening to this podcast, the only thing that you need to do is not listen to them. And there's a multitude of reasons as to why. The first being that these men don't actually give you relationship advice. The vast majority of men who watch their content are probably single. So the only advice that they should be giving you is dating advice. And not in the sense of how to treat the woman after you get her, but how to actually get the woman. See, Fresh and Fit Podcast.
See, that's where the delusion of this woman is, right? They actually talk about it. A lot of things they talk about, right? Fresh and Fit, is that to get a woman, right? At least like generally, is your finances, your looks, and your talking game. Fresh and Fit they do talk that. They do say that. And that's the key to most women, right? If you have those three up, you can get most women. You know, your looks, your money, and how you talk. That's practically you get any woman.
Yeah.
Right? So here's a woman that doesn't watch. See, this is the thing where I criticize certain people. You know, like in the beginning with you, like you only watch clips, and that's all you get. If all you get from people or clips, then you don't know what you're talking about, right? When you get things out of context, that's the delusion of women. Because I feel that. I feel he's misogynistic. I feel he attacks women. I don't have proof of it. I'm not showing any proof of it, but I feel it. I feel how he does that. That's what I'm saying. It's the delusion.
Never actually teaches men the art of dating, the art of courting women or getting women. They only give you the aftermath of once you obtain the woman and what to do.
They don't just only give you the aftermath.
With her then. So instead of sitting around listening to people like this who have no proximity to women or probably haven't touched a woman in years, what men?
It's funny to see this is what I'm saying. Like women will always shoot shots. They will always insult men instead of actually. How about give me proof? Give me counter arguments. No. How many times like a lot of times with Kevin Samuels, they don't debunk the things he say. They call him gay. That's what they do. Like you're gay. You're sassy, right? You sound sassy, right? You seem sassy. You seem gay. You're not debunking any of the things I'm saying, but you're insulting me. That's an emotional. That's what I'm saying. That's an emotional tactic of debating, insulting the person, attacking the person, instead of going down to what they say. Right. That's why I'm a big proponent about not how you say things. It's what you say. I don't care how you say it. You could be screaming at me, but if what you say I agree with, that's what matters. That's how I go about things.
Actually need to do is get off the internet and go out to bars and commingle with women. Men have adopted and put women on this very high pedestal, so much so that they feel like that they are unattainable, and they begin to envy women. And when you envy women, then you want to defeminize them and make them into your perpetual slaves, which you can't.
What the? Doesn't make sense. That's ridiculous. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, my thing: never listen to women. This is it. Don't ever listen to women. Because women will only talk through their emotions. That's it. First of all, it's funny that women say, "Oh, go to bars and try to talk to women." Do you know how hard? Like women, this is the thing with women, right? Because they are the receivers, right? Not the pursuers. They don't understand. Me and you, we definitely understand it. How hard does it go to actually approach women, and how debilitating it is to have women reject you, right?
Yeah,
it is. So this is the delusion of women right here. Here's another woman that, and she talks about other things, right? I think she talks a lot about celebrity news, and I'm fine with that. So this is the thing where I think you're stupid for talking about things you shouldn't talk about. All right, stick to your lane, because it's you're deluded in thinking, oh yeah, go to bars and talk to girls. Really? Because those are the places where they actually reject you and ignore you.
Yeah, that's the
If
hard.
you don't, let's say this, if you don't meet the requirements of what I just said, the money, the looks, the talking game, which Fresh and Fit have, they have, I guess, kind of teach, or they kind of, those are their talking points, right? There's a lot of things that they help improve men in a lot of things. A lot of
Right.
stuff I said, right? Well, I said I like Fresh and Fit in certain ways is that they are very big supporter of men being the best version of themselves. Things that I don't necessarily agree with, but you can do if you want, is that a lot of things Fresh and Fit say that I don't really want to marry, but I want to have multiple women. That's like, okay, I mean, I guess so. You can do what you want. It's not me. It's not for me, right? I mean, I have not necessarily. I'm on the fence if I'm married or not, but I'm not into having multiple women because it's annoying to have one already. To have like dozens is just right. But that's them. So, like I said, you don't have to agree with everything, right? You don't have to agree with everything. And the whole thing they said, like having one-sided open relationships, I think having an open relationship regardless is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So because relationships, when if you're having a true relationship, it's emotional based. So a a woman that is able to accept you having sex with other women, why? Is because she's holding back her emotions. She's holding back her emotions. And when you hold back your emotions, if you slip up, she's gonna let those emotions go. Right? Let's say she's a woman's dating a millionaire, and and he's dating so many other women. She's holding it back because she's a millionaire, right? But once he got fired from his job, and now he's like, I gotta save some money. It's like, oh, she's gonna explode on you, right? She's gonna like let it all out, and
Uh-huh.
that's the thing, right? That's the thing we don't understand. Like the women are letting it out for a certain degree. Now, the thing is, she's saying like men are like jealous of women, envious of women. No, men are not envious of women. That's ridiculous. And men do put women on a pedestal, but it's not because they're envious of women. It's because they desire women. They want women. They're not jealous. They don't want to be like women. There's nothing a woman have that they I want that because a women have it. No, it's that men men want women so badly that they pedestalize women, right? They put them on that pedestal because and make women like a queen, which I think is ridiculous nowadays because that's whatever. But it's just I think that's the thing where I'm talking about like there's a lot of content like this where everyone is jumping on the bandwagon to attack them.
Okay. Well, I mean, whoo. Again, like I don't disagree with you. Like they're catching, once it happened, everybody's like, yeah. They've been waiting for the downfalls. They smoking on the Fresh and Fit pack, but like that's what they wanted. Not that they wanted to be demonetized. And I know that a lot of material I've watched of them, especially recently, talks about how they want to, you know, benefit men, or they're working for the betterment of men.
Uh-huh.
Um, but even you've said it, they're controversial on purpose to get views. So they wanted they wanted that, and it comes with some. It's risky for a reason. Sometimes it bites you.
Yeah.